So this first was just stating the coordinates. So on your coordinate plane, your first set of coordinates is A. So you need to put A, and then you would tell me your X and your Y. X always comes first, then Y. So you should have gotten 4, 3, negative 3, 2, negative 5, negative 2, and 0, negative 4. Graph the following points. So when you graphed it, and I am just going to graph them here on this, if you were to graph it, you're going to do exactly the same thing. 2, negative 4, you need to put the point on the coordinate plane, and you need to put the letter beside it. So anytime you're doing, it actually drops right there. Anytime you're doing this, you want to make sure you put the point and the letter. Remember, the first one moves you left and right. The second one moves you up and down. State the quadrant. They just wanted to know which quadrant or axis it was in. All right, so W would be negative 3, negative 3. That would be down here in the third quadrant. Negative 10, positive 4 would be the second quadrant. Positive 3, positive 9 would be the first quadrant. 0, 2 would be your y-axis. All right. Stating the domain and range. If they want you to just state the domain and range, you're literally just going to put D equals this little squiggly bracket here, the set theory, and then least to greatest, you don't repeat it. Range, same thing. Is it a function? Yes, you have negative 7. None of your x's repeat. So this is a function. A mapping diagram, remember, that is when you draw either a circle or oval or rectangle. You do have to label it, so you do need to tell me what is your domain, what is your range. You would list it in this same order. So you would list your domain, you would list your range, same order that you would list it up there. And then you would just draw an arrow. So negative 7 goes to 5, negative 3 goes to 4, negative 2 goes to 3, and so on and so forth. Again, it doesn't matter if the y's repeat. It does matter if the x's repeat. And that would be your mapping diagram. State the domain and range. Again, you're going to list the domain and you're going to give me each x value here. So we're going to say negative 4, negative 1, 2, and 5, it looks like. So you would do the same thing, negative 4, negative 1, 2, and positive 5. Range, you're going to do your lowest x value, lowest y value, so negative 3 and go up, negative 1, positive 1, positive 3. And whether or not it's a function, again, for these, you can draw a vertical line test, all right? If it is a function like this, where it just draws a line, your domain is going to be parentheses. You're going to go from your least x, which here is negative 4, to your greatest x, positive 3. And do the same thing with your range on these. Lowest y value to highest y value. All right? Same thing here. The only one that's not a function is this guy. If I draw a line and it crosses it twice, not a function. All right? Make a table to represent the function, and actually that goes with the one above it, so you actually don't even need that one. If it only gives you the domain, you're just going to plug these in. Plug in a negative 2, plug in a negative 1. So you should have a table. They gave you all of your x's. You are going to find your y by plugging it in. Ordered pairs, that's what those look like. X, y with parentheses. Graph, you're going to graph it on just like you did the first one, where you have points and you're putting the points on a graph, all right? This is the one we had the most question about. If you have something like this one, you can just see how do I go from one to the other. If you saw it was times negative 1/2 or dividing by negative 2, that's fine. Or you can create a table like this one, all right? Whichever works. This is actually the one I had the most questions on, number 30. So when you're given something like this, you may want to create that middle line, right? And you may want to say, well, how do I get from one to the next? Here I'm adding 1. How do I get from one to the next here? Well, I am subtracting 3. And remember, it's this one over this one. So negative 3x is my starting place. And I'm going to do all of that to these. So if I multiply these by, actually I'm adding 3, aren't I? Why did I say minus 3? Adding 3. So positive 3x. Multiply -6, -3, 0, 3, and 6. I still haven't made it to this line. So I obviously have to add or subtract something. All right? And so if you look, if I subtract 2 from every one of these, I get what I have. So now I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to subtract 2. And that will give me this line, which tells me what my function is, what my rule is. Graphing absolute values, you don't have to plug in any points. You don't have to pick any values. It's going to be a V. If this is on the outside, it moves it up or down. So you're going to take your V and you are just going to move it up or down. In this case, +1 is going to move it up. So I'm going to start here and do my V up 1. If it was inside, it would move it left and right, which your packet actually gives you some of those as well.